Hello, Wastelanders, and welcome back to Piston Junction for Group 7 of the Time Trial. I'm coming to you live from the Piston Family Garage here in Piston Junction. With me is Johnny Piston. I'm going to be saying Piston a lot.
Yeah, that tends to happen around here.
Well, we've had some delays here at the Piston Junction Invitational, but we're getting back on track with Group 7 today. But first, I want to ask Johnny Piston. I've been hearing around town about a special delivery you've arranged.
Yeah, that's right. I got Big Hoss, who's on break from the junkyard joust, and he's bringing in his tanker truck full of the best shine and beer and other food we can find for a big ol' after party today.
Well, let's get right to the racing then, so we can get to the grub.
Now, Miles, them's his words to live by.
Now, first up is Road Rage and that custom Nova Gasser. We have some doubts about the weaponry on this vehicle and how overloaded she is. She's looking pretty good around the Temple of Speed, but oh, it's a bad hop and she's on her side right there at the Rust Belt Customs Chop Shop and Playground. I don't think it looks good for Road Rage there. Her car is just too top heavy to perform well solo on the Piston Junction switchback. Next driver down the track is Madman driving the Grinch. Mad Mopar was one of the first supporters of the WMD, and we thank him for it. Now that Dodge Challenger is so fast, we almost didn't catch it down the track. Now we're torn. Was that showing off or was that a mistake? But either way, he's coming down the track backwards, which we all know is cruise control for style. And style costs you time, but as we can see, he's on the high end of competitive. Let's see if the second round can be a little faster for him. As you can see, once again, we're having camera tracking problems, but he seems to be taking the course pretty well. But I think I might have jinxed him because his backslide there cost him time, and coming around this final curve, he does it again. Style cannot make up for speed. Mad Mopar's second entry is the Dragon, driven by Super Z. He's so fast off the line. Again, we have problems tracking him, but we catch up to him pretty quick. He's pretty smooth around the track. And once again, they go for style over substance, and it's a brutal wrap. Now, once again, it's bad camera work, and I assure you we are going to fire that individual. But look at Super Z here. He's coming around smooth and sweet. Look at those curves. Learning from his mistakes, he puts in a good solid time, and as we can see, coming across the jump, he gets a 14.12. Now, one of our more highly anticipated contestants is Immortan Arlo, coming to us from the Citadel of Connecticut. We don't know why they need a Citadel in Connecticut, but here he is. It looks like coming around Dead Man's Curve, he caught a little of the sidewall, and that's going to cost him some time. We don't give any drivers practices, so they don't really know what's coming at them. But I gotta say, a 12.59 is still pretty damn good. And this is the last damn time we let collaborator Bob take the camera. Now, the Immortal One is known for his close escapes and seemingly endless lives. And you see that here, as he gets on his side, on his roof, and then he actually makes it almost all the way to the finish line. It's tragic, but now we gotta clear the track.
Well, you heard him. The track's clear.
No, that's not what I said. Launch, Warren Hall. Ah, god damn it. Immortan Arlo is still on the track. And this run won't even count because the timers aren't set up properly. But I don't think Warren Hogg knows that. Or does he? What we're seeing here is a fantastic display of sportsmanship. Warren Hogg pushes Immortan Arlo across the finish line. Management has decided to add their scores together, giving Arlo a score of 36.80. Now, the WMD is by no means a sport built on sportsmanship, but we do take the audience into account, and the audience liked that so much, we find ourselves forced to give Warren Hogg 2 runs. So let's see what he does with them. An Opel Kadett is a mighty strange choice for the WMD, and he seems to be taking a fairly leisurely jaunt down the switchback. Oh, style, look at that. He decided to plant it right there on the finish line. That was not accidental, folks. Now let's see if he can get a qualifying time on his second run. So far, so good, but it looks like a lot of drivers are hitting that corner, so we're gonna have track crew out there take a look at that pretty soon. Now, Warren Hogg doesn't seem to be the fastest in the pack, but you know what? A 15.09 is not horrible. Now, with all that excitement, I've worked up a powerful hunger and a little bit of a thirst, if you know what I mean. So go on down to Mabel's and then go on to the No-Tell Motel at halftime. Let's check in with Johnny Piston. Johnny, has there been any word from Big Hoss?
Not yet, but he's expected at any moment.
Breaker 19, this here's the Big Hoss. Anyone down there at Piston Junction got their ears on?
That's a big 10-4. 10-4 there, Big Hoss. This here's Johnny Piston. Come back.
Well, it's time to open the gates and tempt the fates, because I'm coming down the switchback and I got company.
Friendly company or unfriendly company?
When they got the flashing red and blues on, they ain't nobody's friends. Come on, come on.
10-4. We'll set him a plate.
10-4 for sure. It's time to put the hammer down.
Well, thank you, Z2024. We had them on visual. And it is a hell of a brawl out there on the switchback as the cops try and get underneath Big Hoss. But he pulls away. He's coming on down the mountain. He doesn't even look like he gives a goddamn the cops are there in the first place. Look at him go, and he's down. But it is a sad display from our self-proclaimed defenders, the enforcers, when only one of their cops can make it to the bottom of the track, and they don't even finish. So much for them. We need to go to the replay to see what happened. In corner one, Major Taylor Green tries to get up underneath Big Hoss, but she just can't pull it off. And he keeps right on trucking. No one really likes the bombastic Miss Green, but here you can see she takes out her own teammate with her inexperience. That Martian Interceptor is just too much car for her, and she parks it right there. Let's check back in on Big Hoss as he takes that corner with that cop trying to get up underneath him. Oh man, Big Hoss just puts him in the wall and keeps on going. Look at that. Now from here, Big Hoss puts that hammer down and comes right on into Piston Junction. Maybe a little too hard down, if you look at that. You almost gotta feel sorry for that enforcer. Almost. Well, that was more exciting than anticipated. We got to see 3 enforcers get put in the wall. You love to see it. Let's get back to the time trials so we can wrap this up and get to the racing. The next driver is Lieutenant Z, who I'm told is no relation to Super Z. That custom sports car is pretty quick on the track, kind of hard to keep track of. But Super Z is going to need to be a little faster to be at the top of the pack. Let's see what he does in round 2 here. The girls over at the No-Tell Motel are quite the attraction for all the drivers, I've got to admit, but I do not recommend stopping in the middle of the race to make a little love connection. Speaking of women I never want to be in close proximity to, it's Lady Apocrypha Death. Just remember, down at the No-Tell Motel, we don't judge. But in the WMD, we certainly do, so we need a qualifying time from Lady Apocrypha Death. Here she comes around the Temple of Speed, and she seems to be doing a pretty good job. Oh, she's slowing down a bit, and that's going to hurt her score, but she crosses that finish line with a 14.24. That's not horrible. Next up is Dieter driving Flecken. He's a German lost in America. Based on his driving, we think he's a little lost on the switchback. Oh, there he is. Okay. He's driving backwards. Maybe that's because the engine's in the rear. Oh, he's driving forward again. We're not certain if he's showing off or asleep. But he crosses the finish line, and his time is 1996. That was a good year. He's going to need to be a lot faster if he wants to compete here with the other drivers. Let's see what he does on the... Oh, that's not going to do it. He's backwards again, and he's coming around the Temple of Speed, wishing he had some more of it, and he decides to stop right there and have lunch with Rust Belt Customs. Now, King Shark is one of the more respected bounty hunters on the circuit, and there's a lot of gossip going around town as to who exactly he's here for. Let's take a look and see how he does on the switchback. Well, Dead Man's Curve is aptly named. He's down at Dead Man's Curve. Now, due to technical difficulties with the finish gate, he's going to run his second run next time. Which brings us to Tank, one of the more oddly named prospects this year, as she's actually half Corvid, and they are not known for their tanking ability. Let's see how they drive. Like many prospects, she's quick out of the gate, but she takes those curves pretty well. A little wobbly there, but she comes around the Temple of Speed with good time. Around the final corner and through the jump. Oh, did she kill collaborator Bob? Yes, she did, and she also hit Theodora Piston, but we're not going to mention that to Johnny. She seems a little shaken up by her first run, and she isn't moving with the same confidence or speed. She seems to be almost gingerly coming down the track. Maybe she's something of a pacifist. I don't know, but she's stopping with style right there at the end of the gate. And that's all we have for this week, folks. Join us next weekend when we finish off the time trials. All the cars that haven't run yet will run then, and we'll see you then.